Hey everyone, welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm David Nuno, got Nick with me, got Callie with me. Favorite part of the program, Calita?
Jamie Morrison.
He was great.
He's my favorite.
That's my guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Nick, you're going to use an interesting voice. What was your favorite part of the show?
Oh, well, definitely my favorite part of the show has to be Olin Buchanan, yeah.
Where did that voice come from? Where did it originate from?
I'll tell you off the air.
You sound like the apparently kid.
The what kid?
Apparently, I
don't get it either.
I'll show y'all later.
Show me it later. All right, we had Justin Lanham on the program. We talked a lot of Aggie basketball. Trey Wallace. How would you describe that conversation with Trey? It was like meeting of the minds. Actually, I didn't have a mind in it. It was all his mind, right?
Yeah. I said rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole.
I just think it.
Yeah, we just kept on going. It's like when you're on YouTube and you go to the next video and the next video, like you just keep going down this path.
Like drones, you know? Drone rabbit hole.
Dude, this video I was watching in the break, like I feel like I'm moving. Like I don't know where I'm moving to, but the drone stuff is crazy. Charean Williams. I always move into my chair upright to listen to her because she was fantastic. Worst segue I've ever had. It's the Rewind. Check it. I'm sorry for not knowing this, but has West Virginia hired their coach yet? Do we know?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know, Nick? We should look into that.
I think yes.
They did.
Rich Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I knew that. The return of Rich Rod.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Of course.
I'm interested. So you mentioned to me, and we'll have a segment later on in the show about what some people are saying about next year's Heisman votes, but you mentioned to me that there was one poll that you saw that had a particular quarterback from the state of Texas, right?
No, I haven't even seen it.
Oh, okay.
I saw someone had put out like a list,
Okay.
and I didn't even look at it. I said, you know,
yeah.
I'm betting who they put number one on their list.
Well, I saw a list earlier, and one of the names on that list was DJ Lagway.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can't see it because I looked at Florida's schedule, and it looks exactly like it does this year, just reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they won 7 games this year?
Yeah.
That's pretty good for the...
Especially considering what we thought and where it looked like they were going.
And, you know, Mertz gets hurt, and he was looking okay. They played really well down the stretch, so I don't think...
Might have beaten Georgia had Lagway not
gotten hurt.
Got the hamstring pull.
And might have given Texas a bigger run for their money.
Well, they certainly would have made it more interesting.
Yeah, so
the Yale kid just wasn't very good.
So I saw Lagway's name listed on there. We'll talk about some of these other ones later. But I'm very interested in seeing what DJ Lagway does. I like him.
I like him, except when they come to Kyle Field this year.
Yeah, and I hope that they're horrible that day.
I do too.
I hope it's such a blowout.
Of course.
All right. And show me the list again of games. If you don't mind, Nick, I'd like to see what other ones that you had up on there. I know you had the West Virginia, Memphis game. That's I guess some of the playoff games. Indiana, Notre Dame.
I'm going to watch that.
I am too.
I
think I saw that's the biggest ticket right now in the first round of college football playoff games.
Really? Well, I guess anytime Notre Dame's involved.
Yeah.
And Indiana's being the story. Look, it's been a Cinderella season, if you want to call it, for Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. And defensively, guys have stepped up in different moments. You see Payne coming over for a big block, or Solomon or Anderson. You're getting Wade. You know, this last game, he comes over and takes a charge. Guys have just really stepped up defensively, and that's what's been impressive. I think something that helps our defensive effort that probably we obviously talk about this being a strong point for the Aggies, but you probably don't think of it this way, is that it helps our defense, is because we offensive rebound so well. It doesn't allow teams to get in transition as fast, because they've got to commit 5 guys to the glass, because if they don't get a rebound, you know, we're just going to keep coming at them. So I think that really helps our transition defenses, because we're putting so much pressure on the offensive glass. They don't have guys to get out and run. They've got to commit those 5 guys to the glass.
Talking to Justin Lanham on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Appreciate everybody listening in. All right, let's talk about this defense intensity, though, because it's one thing to do it for stretches in a game, kind of like the offensive stretches we were talking about, but they have that same level of intensity no matter which 5 is out there, and it's all game long, and it becomes overwhelming. Look, I don't know if this team's going to be able to get to the Final Four, Elite 8, but with that kind of defense, you're going to have a fighter's chance in every game.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing that helps that, of kind of what you're talking about, is the depth. I mean, we're able to send 5 guys, at you, and then whenever someone gets tired, somebody else is coming into the game to kind of relieve that guy and continue that pressure. I don't know, something that stuck out to me that I really love. I don't know if you've seen this, but have you ever watched Andy check into the game? I mean, that dude literally sprints from the end of the bench all the way to the table. And I mean, that just right there epitomizes who he is. And I think it's awesome to see as a coach, especially because that guy's eager to play. When his name's called, he's ready to go. And I think you can really say that about any of the guys. I mean, there's guys that from game to game, they get different minutes. I think Manny is one of those guys, especially that, you don't really know how many minutes he's going to get from game to game. But whenever he comes in, and his name is called, I think he's usually ready to go. So I think that you could say that about just about anybody on that team.
Did a segment a moment ago on, there's rumors online, and I hate commenting on rumors about Ryan Williams maybe going in the portal. They're rumors at this point. But if Ryan Williams is going to go in the portal, a player like Ryan Williams, who seemed to be happy and thriving at a program, I don't like that players, if they're happy, are just going to be enticed by agents because, hey, I can triple your salary. And I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth when I say that, Trey, because I feel like you should be able to make as much money as possible. But I don't love the idea of people who are happy who aren't even thinking about being in the portal. And I don't know if he is, but just guys like that, they're like, okay, I guess I'll try it, see what I can make. I don't like that for the game of college football.
Yeah, so that's the problem that we're running into right now, David, and I've spoken with a bunch of NIL agents. Some of them, I use that term lightly over the last month and a half, 2 months. And what you're starting to see, David, is these players don't even know they're being shopped around. And so when it gets down to it, so what happens is let's just say Ryan Williams, for instance. Ryan Williams shows out all season long, and you've got some third-party agent, again, using that term lightly, that starts reaching out to collectives at other schools, maybe reaching out to contacts, assistant coaches and whatnot, and saying, hey, look, if this were to happen, what would the market rate be for Ryan Williams at your school? And so it gets down to it. Okay, well, this guy here's, let's just say $2 million. Okay, this guy here's $2 million. Oh, well, wait a minute. You're telling me that some Big Ten school is going to offer him $2 million if he decides to get in the portal. Okay, all right, now, cool. Now I can go to Ryan Williams and say, hey, man, and doing it, by the way, through back channels, because Ryan Williams has representation. So doing it through back channels and through family members. Hey, man, look, I talked to this coach, man. Like this collective is they're talking about $2 million. I can get you if you were to transfer. Oh, wait a minute. What? Okay. So what that does is it starts putting it in the heads of the family, starts putting it in the heads of the player itself, because that's going to get back to them. And then you're having to ruffle through the mud when it comes to what is actually real and what is actually not real in this situation.
Yeah. They just have so many injuries on defense, and I think it tells you the job that Aaron Glenn's done with what he's had to work with. And Dan went on the radio today and went off. I used a couple of profanities on the radio and said, we'll be able to overcome our injuries. I don't know how they're going to be able to overcome those injuries on defense. It's so many players and so many good players that I don't know how they're going to overcome that. And it's unfortunate, but and now they've lost David Montgomery too for the season. So they've just taken some huge, massive hits that it takes a little luck to win a Super Bowl. You have to be good, but you have to be lucky too, and not have the season-ending injuries that they had. But the good news for them is they're done with the Bills. They don't have to play the Bills again unless they get to the Super Bowl. But I just think it's going to be really difficult for them, even to win the division now. They're tied with the Vikings, and the Packers are right there lurking. They do have the tie break on the Packers, but they've got to hold off the Vikings to get not only the number one seed, but to win the division. And the Eagles also are tied with the same record. So they're in a little bit of trouble, I think, but that offense can still score points. They're just going to have to outscore people, which is why he's so aggressive. He got some criticism for the onside kick, but I understand the onside kick. He doesn't trust his defense. The injuries that they've had, they can't stop a really good offense. And so I think that's going to be their problem. But we'll see what they can do. We'll see what Aaron Glenn can do.
All right, let's close out with Aggies in the NFL. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, let's start with number 3. We're going to go with Devon Achane. 12 carries, 41 yards, 7 catches, 35 yards. That's 19 touches for 76 yards. But the biggest play he made in the game against the Texans was he at the end of the first half on an interception, tracked down the guy and tackled him short of the end zone. The Texans had to settle for a field goal. It was the best play of the game. Outstanding work by Devon Achane. None of us are surprised with what he's done. None of us are surprised with Edrin Cooper either. We got 1A and 1B here. Edrin Cooper probably going to be NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He's definitely a candidate. 5 tackles, a sack, 2 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for loss, a pass defense, an interception. Oh, by the way, he played special teams and had 2 special teams tackles. Just an outstanding performance. It's unfortunate he missed, 5 games, I think, 4 or 5 games, or he would be right in that conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. And then, like I said, 1A, 1B, however you want to list them. Mike Evans, of course, 9 catches, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. We didn't think he'd get to 1,000 yards. Guess what? He needs to average 84 yards over the next 3 games to get there. He has 749 at this point with 3 games to play. Let's go, Mike. Get that 1,000 yards.
All right, we're going to close it out. Should we allow Nick to do it in the voice?
Yes.
Do
we
it in the
should.
voice, Nick.
Do it in the voice, Nick.
Oh, you definitely got to like, comment, subscribe to TexAgs.com and YouTube. Yeah.
Don't forget the flush. It's TexAgs Rewind. See you next time.